I'm sorry. So what were you asking me?
I thought I had a house in Houston.
You lived in Peter's house in Houston. You lived upstairs in Peter's house. Do you remember Julia and Anna lived downstairs with Peter?
Mm-hmm.
And you lived in Peter's house. You didn't have a house in Houston.
How'd I get here?
Well, you came here on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
You had lived with Peter for a few years, about 4-ish years, and then you came here to live now.
I thought it was just coming to visit. And he sent all my extra clothes.
Yeah. You lived there for a long time, Mama. He took care of you and responsibility for you, and now you're living here.
Okay.
That's why your stuff, your possessions are here. Your pictures, your artwork, your genealogy, your quilts. So this is your home now. And your house did not sell in Houston. Peter has that house. That's his house. He still lives there.
I thought his house was like next door. A few doors down from mine.
Nope. You lived upstairs in his house for a while, for 4 years-ish, something like that.
Wow. 4 years.
Yep, and during that time he met Julia and they got married and they have a baby now. They still live in that house.
Mm-hmm. So it's not my house.
No. Not your house.
But I came to visit you.
You came to live with me.
And he sent all my clothes.
While you were still living with him, he and you talked about it many times, and he packed all your suitcases up and packed up your whole room. He sent you here to live.
Okay.
It's an adjustment, huh? Taking some time to adjust. But you get to see him pretty soon.
Yeah.
He's coming to visit you.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking of going to visit him.
He's coming in Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And you can talk to him anytime you want. You have a cell phone. You're welcome to call him, talk to him, see how he's doing.
So my house is sold or rented out or what?
Which house are you referring to, Mama?
The one that was a few blocks away from him.
So you never had a house in Houston. You lived in his house in Houston. You did not own one.
Okay.
So you have lived near Peters a few blocks away for a while in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
That was like 10 years ago. That was way before you moved to Houston. That was before Roy died. Do you remember Roy?
Mm-hmm.
So you had a house down the street from Peter before Roy died.
In Houston?
No.
No, not in Houston.
Right. I mean, you lived in Houston years and years ago when we were first born. When Peter was born, but... So no, you don't own a house in Houston. You have not owned a house in Houston for 100 years. Well, at least 40 or 50. Because you might have owned one back when Peter was born, but I don't know. I think we just rented one.
Mm.
So you lived upstairs in Peter's house for the last 4 years. And before that, you lived in Maryland next door to me.
Mm-hmm.
In St. Michael's. You lived next door to me and down the street from Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So we all lived within a mile of each other in Maryland, you, Mark, and I.
Mm-hmm.
That house was like 5 years ago, and that did sell, yes. And then before that, you had a house in Virginia and in Florida
Mm-hmm.
that have sold too. Clear as mud now? I
So
don't.
now I'm supposed to be here where I am living with you.
Yes, you're where you're supposed to be.
Okay, because I thought I was going back to living near Peter.
Nope, you weren't living near him. You were living with him, and you're not going back there. You're just going to stay here.
Okay. Hmm.
But he and Julia and the baby will come here at Christmas. I'm sorry, at Thanksgiving and see us. Yep. And you can talk to him anytime you want. Just call him up. Your memory's going, Mama. Sorry.
So I sold the house
What house, Mama?
there.
You didn't ever have a house there.
I thought I had a house near him.
No.
Because my little memory thing is that I was scared to go in my house. So I went like next door to Pete.
I don't know where that comes from, Mama. You had a terrible man living with you in Maryland, and you called Peter because you were scared to be living there anymore. And you moved from Maryland to Houston. You asked Peter if you could come live with him because you didn't trust your memory and your judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's what you're remembering.
Who was the man?
It's a person named Michael. Do you remember Michael?
Not really.
No.
No.
It's probably a good thing you don't. But you had a relationship with him for about 1.5 years. And that's when you sold that house. And you went and lived with Peter. So maybe that's what you remember. I don't know.
What was the man's name?
The man's name was Michael. Yeah.
Come on, brain. Start working. Shoot.
Sorry, Mama. Got a disease called Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Yep.
when I came here,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had packed some things, and then later Pete sent all the whole rest of everything I owned.
Well, he shipped them while you were still living there. You packed them with him, and he shipped them before you came. So they were here when you arrived.
All these boxes,
All the boxes, yep.
because I thought I had just had what I put in my suitcase in there, and then later.
Well, you brought a couple suitcases full of things, and then
Mm.
there was about, I don't remember, something like 15 boxes were here with other stuff already when you arrived.
Well,